The crypto world loves drama. I mean, we have Bitcoin arguments, meme coin frenzies, political divides, but the real game changer is happening behind the scenes with Ripple and XRP. Look, picture XRP as the plumbing of the new global financial system, moving money across borders like water through pipes. It's fast, it's scalable, it's unstoppable. And with Ripple stablecoin RLUSD and clear regulations, this infrastructure is ready to dominate. Welcome back to Zip Tips Crypto, where we discuss the macro view of the transformation of the old financial system. I am Zip, and I hope everyone is doing great out there and you're ready for another fun week in this journey of digital assets. Please remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't, as I provide not only the latest news, but practical advice to prepare for the inbound wealth in our futures if you are invested in these utility cryptos like XRP. I am not a maxi on anything, and I have a diversified portfolio, everything from XRP, HBAR, SHX. I love utility. And yes, I've seen your comments. We're going to be talking about Flare very, very shortly and how we can utilize our XRP to make more XRP and earn passive income. So hang on for that as I'm building that one in the background. All right, let's buckle up because this is how XRP rewires finances and why you're not too late if you're just getting into digital assets. Some of this is going to be a review for those of you that are new, but it's going to reinforce it for those of us that have been here to understand the large impact that is going on. But you have to be smart and you have to ignore the negative noise that is out there. Take a quick look at the markets and we see XRP at 226 right now. It's pumped up a little bit and drifted back off. But again, the theme for this channel is we don't pay attention to the markets because what I'm building for you is a thesis, a long-term perspective, if you would, of where these things are going. Now, imagine sending $1 million from New York City to Tokyo in seconds for pennies without banks holding billions in pre-funded escrow accounts. That's not sci-fi, okay? It's called RippleNet. Ripple's global payment network used by over 300 institutions across 55 plus countries to settle cross-border. They are partnered with some of the largest financial entities in the world. And that's not coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. And at its core is the digital asset XRP utilized on DLT technology. That's the native token acting as the plumbing. That's what I want you to see. That's fast, it's efficient, and it is built to scale. Now, as we look at Ripple, look at the partnerships that they have. You have to do your own research, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to provide as much content as possible and to keep you excited, to keep you informed, but you have to do your own due diligence. And companies like this are a once in a lifetime. Ripple is the financial behemoth that is equatable to what Amazon was. We talked about what happened during that time frame, during the internet of value, when the internet came out. This is the exact same paradigm switch that is going on, but it's modernizing the financial system, and we get to own a piece of that technology. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, here's how it works. RippleNet's ODL uses XRP as a bridge currency. Basically, a bank is going to convert dollars to XRP. Okay, it's going to send it across the XRP ledger, the XRPL, and it converts it into whatever the other end is, yen, rubles, it doesn't matter, all in under 4 seconds with fees as low as less than a penny, a fraction of a cent we're talking about. Compare that to Swift, which is days long of delays, T plus 1, 2, 3 at $25 to $50, for fees. XRP eliminates the need for pre-funded accounts, freeing up billions of capitals, which what? Creates velocity. That is what we are looking for. We need money to have velocity in the financial sector as well as in our own lives, as I've spoken to in numerous videos. But what really makes XRP the perfect plumbing? It's scalability. Anything in the technical environment has to be scalable. You want to scale as fast as possible and meet new demand. The XRP ledger handles 1,500 transactions per second today. And we know there's a potential that can be scaled even more through optimizations. David Schwartz has stated that, that's rivaling what Visa's capacity is today, is when it increases up to 10,000, 12,000, 13,000, whatever that capability may need to be in order to increase the speed per second. Now, unlike Bitcoin, which is a slower blockchain, or Swift, which has siloed systems, XRP's ledger prunes the older transactions to stay lean and mean, using minimal energy as well, just as a note. Now, we know real players are already plugged in, like Santander, Japan's SBI Holdings is pushing XRP adoption across 80% of its banks this year. This is the plumbing for a $190 trillion cross-border payment market. We are now seeing companies as well using XRP as treasury reserve tools. Businesses, similar to what is going on with Bitcoin. We are seeing a financial transformation, and companies, remember, are very, very, very competitive, which what is going to drive more expansion and more capabilities. Companies will not want to be left behind, and they are absolutely jumping in, and they want to be part of this technology. And they understand what ODL is transforming and how it is a bridge currency and liquidity and allows real-time settlements, something that they have never had. Now, XRP's pipes are built, but very, very, very important, and this is why I keep talking about it, they're built without a solid foundation. Even the best plumbing leaks. But that's where regulation comes in. The institutions need clear rules that are the concrete that makes banks, governments, and investors trust this new technology, this new financial system. 2025 is shaping up to be the year XRP's foundation is absolutely solidified, as well as digital assets as a whole. We've talked about the stable coins and the bills that are being presented out there. Stable coins are the fuel in XRP's pipes. I want to make that very, very clear. And Ripple's new RLUSD stablecoin is a game changer, but it is not a replacement. It adds liquidity. It absolutely enhances XRP. I am still seeing people saying that with all this stablecoin regulation that's being passed, well, what do we need XRP for, or any of these digital assets? Well, the reason for is cross-border, ladies and gentlemen. We still have to get, as I put in the last video, that final mile, and that's what XRP does. But we need the regulation, the Genius Act, which is being has already been passed by the Senate Judiciary Committee. It mandates one-for-one reserves, audits, AML, KYC compliance for stablecoin issuers that handle over $50 billion. This ensures stablecoins like RLUSD are absolutely safe and trusted, which is critical for Ripple's success because it adds liquidity. Again, why does it matter? RLUSD is going to be fully backed by USD and short-term securities. Complement of XRP by offering price stability for conservative institutions that are very wary of XRP and digital assets volatility. Now, together, these two, they create a dual system. XRP for speed, RLUSD for stability. These bills are on track for the president's signature by August. Yes, they're going to go back and forth for markups, and there's going to be discussion. And one day it's going to be on, the next day it's going to be off. It's the political system, ladies and gentlemen. It's what we have. But summer is absolutely going to heat up. And, speaking of summer, let's look at Waters Above Crypto, excuse me, and what he just posted. I don't know how many of you follow Waters Above, but he has some phenomenal content out there. And he is saying $15 XRP by July 24th, 2025. Well, I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but we're going to be here. And one thing I do know that's going to happen is that the prices of these digital assets are going to go up. Again, I am shooting. My thesis is, yes, we will see some growth in the coming months, but after these bills and all of this stuff comes together, that's when we're going to see real explosion and utility. The institutions are going to flood in. We know that you have the ETFs. It is like a great tsunami coming together that is going to flood the markets. And again, I am shooting for late Q3, Q4, absolutely to be explosive. Now, other regulation, staying on the regulation theme, because we need that clarity. And speaking of which, the Clarity Act, which was introduced in May, puts the CFTC in charge of utility tokens like XRP, streamlining oversight, something that we have not had in the past. These laws tell the banks that XRP and RLUSD are compliance ready. That is the key. Even Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, he has said it best. Without clear rules, the U.S. risks losing this financial revolution. These laws are the green light for banks to plug into XRP's plumbing. And we have FedWire getting ready to go live as well in July, mandating ISO 222. And the world needs to be on board with ISO 222 by November. Everything's lining up. I want you to see the big picture and just hold on, ignore the up and down price movements. Look long term. That is how wealth is created. So again, why is RLUSD the secret sauce? The reason is it's designed for fast, compliant transactions. And with the stablecoin bill, it's coming. It's not here to replace XRP. Again, it is here to amplify it. You have to understand the environment. Here's specifically kind of how RLUSD and XRP are going to work together. Stability meets speed. It's what I was just talking about. XRP's volatility can scare a lot of conservative banks, a lot of institutions. They don't like volatility. They like stable coins. stability, should I say. But RLUSD's one-to-one USD backing offers that stability. Banks can use RLUSD for settlements and XRP for instant cross-border routing, creating an absolutely perfect balance. It also adds liquidity boost. Every RLUSD transaction on the XRP ledger requires XRP to pay for fees. What is that doing? It's increasing XRP's velocity and demand. Remember, XRP is a deflationary burn mechanism. It reduces its supply over time, driving value. That's why I love these projects, because they are deflationary, unlike our fiat system, which is just ridden with costs and inflation and losing value every day, every year. It also has institutional adoption. RLUSD's compliance with standards like ISO 222 make it a gateway for banks and central banks to join RippleNet, boosting XRP's network activity. And we know this is going to be an interoperable world. It will not just stand on its own and by itself. None of these digital assets will. They are all going to be interoperable and have a part in this new system. But in my belief, XRP and Ripple are the driving force leading that change. And then we have DeFi and beyond with RLUSD. It enables tokenized assets in DeFi on the XRP ledger. Like Ondo finances tokenized treasuries that they're bringing on board, making XRP the connective tissue for a broader, new, updated, modernized financial system. Think of it like this. RLUSD is the steady water supply. XRP is the high-speed pump. Together, they make RippleNet a scalable, compliant powerhouse, handling everything from remittances to trade finance and real estate settlements, tokenization. It's all coming in the future. XRP's scalability is really its superpower. Okay. It uses its consensus algorithm to avoid energy hungry, mining like Bitcoin. Bitcoin has its own place in this system as a store of value, but it does not have utility. That is the missing sauce. XRP does, and it's deflationary. Both of them are deflationary assets, which ensures long-term efficiency and value stability. What else? Ripple's legal environment really cements its foundation, ladies and gentlemen. We know 2016, Ripple secured New York Bit license, providing compliance very, very early. They have been building this system for years and years. If you are new to this and just learning about this, go back and do a historical evaluation on what has been going on for years and years. In 2023, we know that XRP was ruled not a security. Okay, confirming what? It's a utility token. Why it will fall under the CFTC. And RLUSD has NYDFS approval. Man, these make XRP a regulation ready pipe. I hope you can see that. Trusted by institutions and ready to scale globally. These are huge for institutional floodgates that are opening. I'm going to say it again. XRP is the plumbing for a $190 trillion market, with RLUSD as its stable fuel, and regulations like the Genius Clarity Act are building its foundation. RippleNet is live, moving money for banks like Santander, Trianglo. This isn't hype. It is the future of finance. And you and I are early to the game. Whether you're holding XRP still or exploring and evaluating RLUSD and what it's going to do, or just curious, these changes can absolutely redefine your financial future. So don't miss out on this financial revolution. And please have your financial system in place if you decide to take profits at the latter half of this year or whenever, and I will continue to show my strategies here. Nothing I provide is financial advice. It's just what I'm doing on this journey. But you have to have somewhere, you have to have your system in place, because becoming rich, to be honest, is easy. Creating wealth is the hard part, and maintaining that wealth within your system, which is some of the education and things that I show that I'm doing in order to do that. I want to secure my capital. I want to invest in other assets. I want to be diversified. We have ETFs coming, strategies that are going to be coming on board in the future. All of this is right in front of us. The most exciting time to be alive. If you see the bigger picture and you step away from some of the social content and some of the noise that is out there. But I look forward to absolutely hanging with all of you sometime in the near future on the most beautiful beaches of the world. And with that, just stay safe, stay away from the scams, stay away from the bots, keep your assets secured off of the exchanges. And until next time, Zip is out.